welcome to my wonderful knitting life. My name is Margaret, and today you find me at the family cottage where I am busy packing, tidying up the garden, the kayaks, and getting ready to travel back to my job on the North Shore of Quebec. I am a teacher and I am an avid knitter and crafter. And this channel is mostly about knitting, but sometimes you'll find me talking about my life at the cottage on the North Shore and anything that catches my eye or a topic that comes into my life that I find interesting. So the videos and the pictures that you saw at the beginning of the intro today came from the camera that I had taken with me kayaking when I took those pictures. And that camera went for a little bit of a swim. That was my Samsung phone. And it went into a box of rice, and thankfully it has recovered. So I was able to get those pictures and those videos because I really wanted to share some of the things that I've been doing along with all of my knitting. And I do have a garden here, and it is quite busy right now, growing zucchinis and peppers. We have asparagus, apple trees, beans, beets, carrots, you name it, we seem to have it. We have a lot of things going on outside, which is a lot of fun, and even more fun to eat it at the end of the summer. But as far as knitting goes, I have in the last couple of weeks been really motivated to finish a couple of projects. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is my positive vibration shawl. So I got really busy finishing this, and I have talked quite a bit about it before. It uses earth yarn, U-R-T-H is how that is spelled, and it uses a self-striping as well as a solid and short rows. So I recently got up to the end here where I got really excited to get to the finish line because this is just amazing. And I am delighted to say that I'm done, apart from sewing in the ends. I would highly recommend this project. I thought it was going to be too difficult, but the project is really well written, step by step. And if you take the time, it is not super difficult. I do think an intermediate knitter would have no problem tackling this project. There's also a support group or Facebook page for this project that you can use to give you some guidance and some help. I bought this as a kit, and I had shown the two kits that I had purchased because when I bought this from Mary Maxim, it was on a huge discount, like 75% off. So I ended up buying both because I knew I really liked the yarn and could use it for many different things if I chose to. But you guys had in your comments suggested I do this one first, and that's what I did. And I'm so happy with the results. I did soak and block it, and I had the shock of my life when I soaked it and the water became a leprechaun green right away. It was a little frightening because I was worried about the dye running. And with this indigo, this very dark blue, the ink had come off a little bit on my hands when I had been knitting. So I was quite concerned that I was going to have a problem with that. So I dumped the water very quickly, and I did have some color catchers in there, and went and put in a fresh batch of water and rinsed it again. And I think I did that about 10 times until the water was just the hint of minty color. It didn't make sense why it was green, but I'm sure artists who know their dyes would probably understand why that was a leprechaun green. The border here has these points on it, which are really fun, and I'm so happy with the outcome. What a project. I'm gonna look forward to wearing this. There's just nothing that I don't like about it. It's just fabulous. It's happy, colorful, and when the cold weather comes, I think it will go with almost anything because it's so full of many different colors. And I forgot to talk about what I'm wearing today. So I do have on a knitted top that I made myself. This is made out of Patton's Grace, which is a yarn that's been around for quite a while. It's a cotton yarn and it's very soft. It's a DK weight. I do not know what the pattern is. I made this about 14 or 15 years ago. It's a great sweater for maybe September or October. I do find I need to wear something underneath it because of the lace. And I made it very long, so it is quite long, and the side has this purl at the edge, so you don't have the pattern all over, and there's purl on the sleeve caps right here. Or maybe I should say it's the purl side of the garter stitch. That's more what I want to say there. I'm also wearing earrings that I made. I talked about these when I did a video with my nephew Nate. We had been to a camp called Red Pine Camp, and they have a wonderful craft hut where you can try all different kinds of crafts that maybe you've never done before. And these are resin earrings, and they're super fun to make and quite fast. So I would highly recommend doing that if you ever get the chance. It's a quick fix craft project because it doesn't take a long time and you get results really fast. Unlike knitting, which is time consuming, but we do end up with these marvelously beautiful things. So when I got to the end of that, I got so motivated on my monogamous knitting that I picked up my Olivia Jacket. I finished knitting both of the sleeves and the sleeve caps, and I put them right into the jacket. So I have a jacket now. It's not a vest anymore, it's a jacket. And I'm in love with this. This is just a gorgeous project by 𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐈𝐓𝐈𝐐. It has pockets. And it's just got so many little details in it that you just want to look at it and enjoy it for all it's worth. So one thing I found really interesting about the sleeve cap is that after you've knit the sleeve in the round, you do the sleeve cap back and forth flat. 𝐏𝐻𝐻𝐈𝐓𝐈𝐐 has you knit with both strands of yarn for the last stitch and the first stitch of every row of the sleeve cap. And I didn't really know why, but I decided just to trust the pattern and follow her instructions. And I found out when I was finished and I sewed in the sleeve into the jacket that it really helped provide structure to the sleeve cap, and that really made a big difference when you're looking at quite a heavy jacket needing to support that sleeve and not sort of pull down. So that was a little trick that I've never seen before, and I think I will use that again in the future. So I do have a few things left to finish up this jacket. The sleeve cuff right here where you see these purl bumps, there's going to be some decorative crochet that's going to go on there. And I've decided that I'm going to leave my sleeves with this curled cuff rather than sewing it under. 𝐶𝐻𝐻𝐒 gives you the option of doing both, and I've tried the jacket on and it fits just fine with the curled cuff. The length of the sleeves is perfect. And I've got buttons to put on, but then I've got the sparkles. There's sequins that go on the end of the sleeve cuff and at the bottom of the jacket here, where you have this different pattern. You've got the olive green here, and then you've got a different pattern right here. All of this you've got sequins on. So that's the next thing I'm going to be working on with my jacket. I've also decided that in the sides, because this is knit in the round with a steek, and 𝐶𝐻𝐻𝐒 smartly puts in at the edge of your front and back a row of purls to separate the pattern when you're doing the increasing and decreasing, so you don't interrupt the motifs. And what I want to do, and I've seen this on some of her jackets, I want to do a crochet, a single crochet up or maybe it's slip stitch, I'm not sure. I'll have to investigate that a little bit more. All up the side, and then again down the underside of the sleeve as a decorative element. So I definitely want to add that in to this project. But I feel like I'm in the home stretch and I'm really excited. I want to get this on and wear it in the fall. I did make the extra large, and knowing that, I think the next time I do a project of hers, and I will talk about that in this video, I am going to do the large because I found the sleeves are a little bit roomy for me. So this will be great because it's a jacket, but I'm definitely going to go down a size for something that's shorter and more form-fitting, so that I get that closer fit. So I also wanted to show you a project that my daughter is doing. My oldest daughter is a knitter also. And when I got this kit, I got a kit for my daughter. And she wanted to try one as well. And she chose a design called Rosa at the Ball by 𝐏𝐻𝐒_𝐈𝐓𝐈𝐄. And this is her project. And it is so cute. She's still not finished, but she does have her jacket done. No buttons on it yet, so it's hard to completely hold that up. But it also has a lot of decorative elements as well to the jacket. So you have these flowers that go down both button bands, which are absolutely stunning. The back is this plain pattern. And the cuffs of the sleeves also have the space where you're going to do this embroidery and crochet addition when you're finished the project. And my daughter's working on all of this decorative element right now. And that's the thing about 𝐏𝐻𝐒_𝐈𝐓𝐄's patterns, is they're quite work intensive to finish. You get to the finish line, you sew them together, but there's a lot of decorative parts. It does make the projects absolutely drop dead gorgeous, but you have to be prepared to put the time in because it's not going to be something that you do in a day. It just really takes time to get that finished. So I'll just hold that up close and you can see. And the one on the sleeve right here, you can see that there's a center to the flower. And she's also going to have sequins that she's going to be putting on here as well. So there's a lot going on to the project, but when it gets done, it's going to be just drop dead gorgeous, amazing. And I think she's making the small. Actually, my daughters were in the picture where we were taking out the dock in the water at the beginning of the video. And my daughter is much smaller than I am, so she's making a smaller size. So it's a lot more petite. Okay, so what am I working on right now when I'm not finishing up all of these projects? So I am finishing my Nightshift shawl. And I'm finding this is a great project for right now when I'm really busy trying to get the cottage all cleaned up and packed up. We have a contractor coming in to do some work, both on the outside and the inside. So I'm trying to leave everything tidy. So there's a lot going on. And I just really want something that's very meditative and relaxing. And this is really doing the job. This is the perfect project for kind of like there's so much going on and it's stressful. So I just picked this one up and I just do a section. And I love the colors. It's mosaic knitting, but it's super relaxing. And you can see there's quite a big color change that's happened from the beginning to where I am now. I'm more into like a raspberry color with this teal and now introducing another purple. This is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and she has quite a number in her Nightshift line of this mosaic pattern. I believe she also has a cowl, a sweater, a cardigan. So there's quite a few different projects to work on. And I would say this could very easily be made by an experienced beginner. I bought this kit in Kingston, Ontario at a store called Unraveled. I had a day out with my high school best friend there, and I wanted something to remember the day by, and this is what I bought. So I think that's going to probably get done pretty soon because that's the only thing I'm working on besides finishing up my 2 other projects. But that brings me to next projects. What's going to happen now that I've got some room on some needles? So I'm going to take back with me a kit by 𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐈𝐓𝐈𝐕𝐄. I do have 2 other kits of hers on the list of projects to make. I have one called the Anemone Jacket, which is in a cream and dark orangey red. And I have another one called the 𝐏𝐈𝐊𝐇ine Jacket, which is in cream with quite a number of different purples. So I'm going to try to include some pictures in this video, and I'd love you to give me an idea of which one you'd like me to make next. Give me a suggestion of which one you think I should do after I've worked on those colors with the Positive Vibration Shawl and the Olivia Jacket. It would be great to have some input. I have a hard time deciding what to do next sometimes. The other thing I've been thinking about is this skein of yarn that I got at the Twist Fiber Festival called the Champagne line. And this one's called Marlin. And it's got some gorgeous teal and green and pops of yellow. And it actually has a little bit of purple in there as well. And I was thinking of maybe making a rocket tee with this, but I need to pair it with at least one other yarn skein, possibly 2. So I have been playing with yarn this afternoon to see what would really go nicely with that. I thought those 2 might work really well together for the striped rocket tee. And I thought, well, if I don't have enough, I could possibly bring in a row or 2 between each of the stripes of this really, really bright yellow. But maybe you guys can give me an idea of what I should do with that. It's always great to have input from other knitters. We don't always see everything ourselves, but when we put our brains together, it makes such a difference. I find even when I'm in a yarn store, I'll turn to the person beside me and say, what do you think about this? Which do you like better? And their input is often eye-opening, something we don't see. So please feel free to give me some ideas on what you think. So another neat thing that I found at the cottage while I've been kind of cleaning out was my very first colorwork sweater. And this sweater I made when I was in high school and I was only 14. I remember what grade I was in, and I remember picking out the yarn and going and choosing a pattern at the yarn store. What an interesting thing to take a look at this. So my daughter has worn it a couple of times, my oldest daughter, for skiing, and she says it fits her really well, it's warm. And when I was looking at it, she said, "Mom, why don't you try that on and see if it still fits?" And I sort of looked at her and I said, "Oh, I don't know about that. I don't think it will." I was quite the toothpick in high school. And I filled out since then a little bit. But this one I did try on and I could get it on. But I noticed some really interesting things about something that was knit quite a long time ago. And one of them right away was the neck. We didn't do short rows back in the day. And I always do short rows on my sweaters now. So I really felt like it was kind of choking me. And I didn't like that at all. But the other thing I really noticed was the type of yarn. This is acrylic. And while acrylic yarns these days are fantastic, they're laundry friendly, they're great for kids, they take a beating and keep on going. This yarn is very cardboardy, stiff, and it doesn't feel like it breathes very well compared to the wonderful acrylics that are around today. But it has stayed in great shape, so I'll have to give it that. It's quite old. And the other thing you can see is that the pattern is very, very simple. But when we used to go shopping for projects when I was young, 14 years old, we didn't have a whole lot of choice. We would go to a yarn store because there wasn't any internet, and there would be a few patterns on the wall. It was really limited. It was by yarn companies more than individual designers. So very much meant to sell their own yarn in the process. And that was about it. And the designs were always the same. You had the ribbed fold over neckline, the ribbing on the bottom, and the cuffs. And I feel like today, the learning curve in the last 5 years for me has felt almost like I've learned how to knit again. I've learned how to knit with 2 hands. I've learned so many different techniques. And despite knitting my whole life, I feel like I'm on a new path of knitting. And I'm wondering if anybody else of my age bracket is feeling the same way. There's so much out there. I just feel like I'll never learn it all, which is wonderful. There's always something new out there, and it's exciting. It makes the craft super exciting. So I will be keeping that one. That one's pretty special. I'll have to put it back in a safe place. So I did visit a little store, a yarn store in Kanata, which is a suburb of Ottawa. And it is called Yarns Ewe'll Love. And I found something in there that I was told is extremely popular because it is a spin cycle substitute, if you will. And this substitute is called Cascade Heritage Wave. And it is absolutely stunning. I could have taken every skein. It's just gorgeous. It is a 25-75, or if you want to call it 75-25, superwash sock. But the lady in the store said that these are being picked up by people who are replacing it for the spin cycle, the famous spin cycle, to put in color work. So you've got a very slow changing gradient in your color work sweater. So I did, even though I don't need any more yarn, I know I already have so much, I did pick up a couple of skeins to play with of that. I just find it so incredibly beautiful and soft, and I could definitely pair this with a 100% wool. I wouldn't be worried about doing that at all. They would work well together. So that was something that I picked up, and I did take some pictures and some video. I have one more. Yeah, of course I have one more. This one is more of a icy color, icy blue. I did take some video footage of that store, and I will include some of it at the end of the video so you can enjoy it as well and get some inspiration from some of their projects. I also took a picture of another short row shawl that they had in the store, because now that I've done the positive vibration shawl, I kind of feel like I'd like to try something else using this skill. I really enjoyed it. It's super fun. You always want to get to the next section and see how it develops. So a very motivating type of knit. So I took a picture of a beautiful shawl they had there, and that might be one that I'll look up and I'll give it a try. It's smaller than this one, which can be nice too, because then it's just a little one to put on and you can leave it on when you're at work, or you know, wherever you are, shopping or out with friends, and just enjoy. If you've enjoyed my video today, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps the channel grow, and it can be really encouraging, I have to say, when people do that, and leave comments. I really enjoy the comments. So I'm going to leave you with all of that today. I hope to make another video maybe in 3 to 4 weeks, but as you probably know, the beginning of the teaching year is very busy. It's busy for parents with kids, but it's also super busy for the teacher, getting organized and getting everything set up. So I probably won't be doing another video for a little while, but when I do, I might have some more things that are finished to show you. And until then, take care and happy knitting, and enjoy the rest of your summer. Bye-bye.